I would like to show you how to replace or remove the retractable screen on a Marvin Ultimate Double Hung. And this could be a little challenging in some ways, and let me show you why. One of the issues you're going to run into is if you have to replace this, that more than likely your window is trimmed out. And we need to be able to remove this piece. And if we come over here, you can see right where the seam is. So this is going to be a little challenging. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to go ahead and remove our bottom sash by unlocking it. And we're going to make sure that we open the window at least 3 or 4 inches. There's a little tab on the button on the top. And we're going to go ahead and push this that extra little way. And then we're going to lay it completely flat. And then we're going to lift it straight up. And then we're going to set it to the side. We'll go ahead and remove the top sash by lowering it down. And there's a tab here and here, just like this. And we'll lay it completely flat and then set it to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and release this clutch. And you just take a slotted or flat screwdriver. Now keep in mind the spring is under a lot of tension, so we're going to have to make sure you're pressing down on it. You're going to turn this a quarter turn, which is simulating the sash being tilted to come out. And we're going to go ahead and release this all the way up. Now we'll do the same thing for the top sash. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this. Make sure that there's no screw in here. Sometimes your installer will put a screw in there. If you did, we need to take that out. And we just pop that out just like that. Now it's time to remove this piece. You can just take your screwdriver. And if this is painted, you may want to take a utility knife and score this paint line here. And then just gently remove this and just wiggle it and it'll work its way out just like that. Now we need to disconnect the clutch from the balance tube by taking a pair of pliers and just disconnecting it and let that fall to the bottom just like that. And now we can remove the balance tube. Now we can go ahead and remove the balance tube. There's a single screw that goes into a hole on this balance tube. We just need to pull this out and it comes right out of the screw, just like that. Now let's go ahead and remove this clad piece just by taking a screwdriver. Just like that, and we'll set it to the side. Now we can remove this piece. This is just fit in there with a kerf and barb system, where they got the kerfs there and there's a little barb, so it's all friction fit. Take that out. Let's go ahead and remove this whole jamb liner here. Let's go ahead and move this weather stripping out of the way. This could be a little challenging. It's a tight fit, but you should be able just to grab it like that and slowly go ahead and let that clutch slide out of the way and just keep working our way up. And then we'll set that to the side. Now we can remove this piece, and more likely that you're going to have your trim on here. What you're going to have to do is take your putty knife and you're going to have to fit it in this groove here, and you're going to have to pull it out just like this. And then we're going to have to pull it out at the bottom a little bit, and then we're going to have to slide that down just like that. Now you can leave this screw in place and try to take this out, but that's going to be pretty difficult. We can go ahead and break this screw off, and when we put the balance tube back in it, we can just actually put the balance tube a little higher and just put a screw through it. So for now, I'm going to show you this way because this is more likely the way you're going to be doing it. Let's go ahead and just break this screw right out of here. That's all right. Now we can go ahead and remove this whole housing. Just take your putty knife, put it up here, and just gently work it down. And now you got full access to the whole mechanism. Now if you're replacing a screen cartridge, which would be the screen mesh and the whole cartridge, first go ahead and remove this piece. Now that we got that disconnected, we'll go ahead and pull this out like this. That allows this to come loose. And we'll set that to the side when we put our screen back together. Now we can remove our end cap. You can just take this little clip here, take that off, and that gives you full access to the screen cartridge. And then you can take your brand new one that's going to be wrapped up just like this and pop it in there. Now typically what I do is I go ahead and I unravel all of this before I put it back in there. It's a little easier when you wind things back up. So we'll go ahead and just set that back in there. Then we're going to go ahead and line this up with this. Just like that. Now I'm going to set this to the side. Go ahead and put this back together. This is just the way I do it. There might be other guys out there who like to do this when it's all raveled up. But I find it's a little easier for me to do it this way. So now we have to get these in to make sure everything lines up. And make sure that screen mesh goes in those little hooks like that. Do the same thing for this side. Now we can tighten all these screws. By the way, this is a #1 Phillips head. Okay, now we can wind it up. Now you have a couple options here. When you order a new screen cartridge through Marvin, they give you this one-time use wind-up tool that goes in on a 1/4-inch drive, just like that. And then that will go on that, and then it'll wind it up. Or if you do a lot of these, you can just take a grinder and just grind a little notch to it and put it on the end of your driver here. Now I know there is a certain amount of clicks that you want to hear. I don't know what those are. I've been doing this long enough. I just know by feel. So we're going to go ahead and wind this up. We're going to go ahead and hold on to this mesh so it doesn't retract as we go. We're going to put a little tension on it. And then we're going to slowly let the screen go back on there evenly. So it's really soft now. Obviously I didn't put enough clicks on it. We'll go ahead and wind it up some more. And I'm holding onto the mesh as well so it doesn't retract yet. Feels good. Now we'll put it back together. First we need to make sure the barb is going to line up with the kerf, and it goes in the same way we took it out. Put this piece in, make sure this little latch here fits in this slot. It's important to make sure that this gap is tight. Before we put anything else together, we're going to try the operation. Feels great. Now we can put the rest of it back together. So when putting our jamb liner back in, we need to make sure that this barb is fitting in the kerf. Make sure it's pushed in just like that. Now we've confirmed that this is in all the way. So it's in there all the way. Looks good. Now we can go ahead and put our balance tube in, and I got a screw, and you can see it's going to go right in that hole there. And we need to make sure that this hole is above where the old screw was. You don't want to go below, because if you go below, when you lift your bottom sash up, it can bottom out on the bottom of the balance tube. So we'll go ahead and set that in there. Just like that. Now we'll go ahead and move our clutch all the way up, and we'll grab the bottom of this balance tube here and make sure that that's attached. It's time to install this filler. Take note of the bevel. Point always goes to the exterior. These two curves here go on these two barbs right here. See, it goes in there just like that. And now we can put this piece on. Again, the bevel goes to the bottom. There's a little kerf that goes behind there. There it goes into. It just pops on, just like that. Okay, now we can put this piece in. It's just a friction fit. Now we can go ahead and install this plug. Just like that. And if your installer put that screw in there, now would be the time to replace that screw. Just be sure not to over tighten it, so you do not want to have a reverse hourglass shape to your frame here. So just tighten that screw if that's in there. We got our plug back in place. We're going to go ahead and move both of these clutches down to match this side. So we're going to have to take a measurement from here to here and here to here on this one. Now we're going to go ahead and move this down to match the other side. We're going to do a quarter turn, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing for this one. And then we'll go ahead and install our sashes. Okay, we'll go ahead and put our top sash in. We're always going to lay it completely flat. Make sure they're above the clutches. We're going to give it a little tap. And we're going to go ahead and hold these little clips in here, these tilt latches. And we'll go ahead and install the bottom sash. We're going to go ahead and replace our bottom sash. Make sure it's completely flat. Make sure it's seated properly. And then we're going to push a little button in. Move that just like that. And now we got it in. Well, I hope that video helped you out. If that video helped you out, please help me out by hitting the subscribe button at the bottom. That would help me out a lot. Thank you. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.